And we are live. What's good, people? It's your man DL Saint sitting here again, trying to figure out. There it is. I thought I unplugged something. Couldn't hear myself. What's up, people? How y'all doing? It's your man DL Saint. We right here. We live. We doing this thing. Um, Hope y'all having a good Thursday. I know I am. Taking care of business, getting my daughter up to speed on her responsibilities at school. Yes, I said it. My 13-year-old has responsibilities. Her grades are her responsibility. I had to tell her this week, your job is school. Right? So your money or the grades. You trying to get paid, you trying to do some good things, you want to play with your VR, you want all this stuff, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to make your money by getting them grades. And she's doing it. She's making it happen. She's growing up. I'm so proud. It's great. So yeah, I'm here. Definitely wanted to talk about some parenting stuff. I kind of already talked about it, didn't I? You know, like being a parent, seeing what's going on, being a Gen Xer. You know, there's a lot that I'm seeing today, and it just bothers me. It troubles me. I don't know what's going on, people. We need to talk. We need to talk. And so yeah, so I was talking to one Jay Swans earlier today, and he was asking me, yo, what are you gonna do on the show today? I'm like, man, I'm thinking about doing this. He was like, you might want to do that. He was talking about what China is doing in the Solomon Islands right now that's not really making a lot of news. I wasn't even hip to it, to be honest with you. I was busy doing other things. I'm focused on building this channel and my daughter and just things here. Like my bubble right now is real local. And I haven't been looking at what's going on in the world as much as I normally do. But yeah, he was telling me what's going on. And yo, it's real. It's what China's doing is real. Is brilliant. Say what you want about the Chinese, but man, oh man, they know how to plan, and they doing it. They looking at the generational. They playing the generational game, y'all. So you see what's going on with Putin and Ukraine, and everyone's like all eyes on Taiwan, but China is doing other stuff. Solomon Islands, look into it, check it out. So I'll probably come back with something on Monday. I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna get up to speed, and I'll probably say a little something about what's going on in the Solomons come Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, somewhere in that time frame, because I am definitely fascinated. And yeah, there's some real stuff going on out there. So yeah, y'all know DL Saints about that political stuff, that geopolitical game. You know what I mean? I played Risk when I was a kid. It's all about taking over. So China's on that. But I was working on the story we're gonna talk about today, like not just the story, but what's going on with parenting today and what's going on with kids. Zero accountability parenting. I'm seeing that right now. That's what it seems like to me. There's people out here with their kids, and yo, I don't know if they realize that they gotta take care of them. I'm sitting here trying to do like I always do, trying to find my video. There it is. I could join my own stream. Like my stuff. Let me turn the volume down. So thanks for bearing with me, y'all. Gave myself a like. It's like it's 3 likes out there. Thank y'all for the support. I appreciate it. I know it's the end of the business day. People are, rush hour. People are commuting, doing what they got to do. So definitely catch the replay if y'all don't jump in on the live. And if you are on the live, please feel free to comment. Let me know how you think about some of this stuff I'm gonna be talking about, man. But zero accountability parenting. Like, I don't understand what's going on with parenting. So the thing is this, and I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking like what's the best way to really enter into this? You know what? We'll just go hard with it. We'll start right off with the article that actually got me on this to begin with. So, and here it is. right? So I live in the Tampa area, Tampa, Florida, and this article, not this particular article, but I was made aware of this story a couple weeks ago. Deputies, child death, murder, and sister injured after being hit by car in Oldsmar. And Oldsmar is real close to where I stay. And a child is dead after a car crashed into her and her family Saturday evening in Oldsmar. The Pinellas County Sheriff's Office reports around 7:19 p.m. deputies responded to West St. Petersburg Drive, west of Bayview Boulevard intersection to investigate a pedestrian crash. And investigators say Ortega, 40, was with her 10-year-old daughter and 6-year-old daughter standing on the north side of West St. Petersburg Drive, waiting to cross the street. Eric Hopes, 40, was driving westbound in a 2010 Nissan Altima when the family reportedly began to cross the street. The car crashed into the family, deputies explained. Ortega and her daughters were transported to the hospital, according to the sheriff's office. The 6-year-old was pronounced dead at the hospital, while Ortega and her 10-year-old daughter were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. No traffic control devices were found at the intersection, and the car had the right of way. The family was not using a designated crosswalk at the time of the crash. Speed and impairment does not seem to be factors in the crash, according to the deputies. So this is horrible right here. Right? This is horrific. Anytime you talk about loss of life is bad, but when it's a child, like, I mean, it's really, I just can't imagine losing my little girl. I just can't imagine. So the article that got me on this topic, that got me on this story, was about the father who he's trying to begin a campaign to have traffic signals, more traffic signals in the area, and things of this nature. And the article was well written, and again, your heart goes out because you the way they wrote that article. When you first read the headline, it just gives the impression that the reason this horrible thing happened was because no traffic signals, no crosswalks, no nothing. And then I read the article and I was shocked to find what actually happened, which was you had a woman, a mother, with her 2 children, 10 and 6, and they're jaywalking. And they got hit. Right? So I assumed when I read the article the first time, it was just kids in the street, and then maybe people aren't paying attention, cars are zooming by, whatever. But that wasn't the case here. You have a mom, you have a grown up with two kids, and the grown up made a decision to jaywalk with the kids, and it ended horribly. And I get that you as a grieving parent, you're gonna want to do everything you can, but according to the deputies, there was a crosswalk there. And the grown-up decided not to utilize the crosswalk. Now, growing up in the Midwest in the 70s and 80s, our grown-ups drove into our heads to respect vehicles. Stay away from the cars. Get out of the way. Look both ways before you cross the street. Hurry and cross the street. Run. Don't walk. Use the crosswalks. Like that was driven into our head. But these days, when I'm driving around, especially the Tampa area, people don't respect vehicles. They don't respect the tonnage out there just moving at high rates of speed. They don't. They just walk right in front of you. And they're teaching this to their kids. Just walk right in front of you. And you're trying to drive. We haven't even begun to talk about the distracted drivers that are out there with phones, right? Filming stuff, TikToking, whatever they doing. We haven't even got into that. It's crazy. Jason Johnson, what's good, fam? Thanks for coming through. Horrible parenting decision. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely horrible. Horrible. Parents, y'all got to take command. Y'all got to be in charge. It is up to you as a parent, as a responsible adult, to teach the little ones. You got to teach them. You got to teach them right. I don't understand why people are so free with their life. Like, well, I'm gonna walk in the street, I'm gonna jaywalk, whatever. If you hit me, I'm gonna sue you. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say that. Well, you better look out for me. Here in Florida, people walk around at night wearing all black, nothing reflective. Nothing reflective. In the street. They're not on the sidewalk. They're in the street. Where are they learning that from? When I pick my daughter up from school, I drop my daughter off every day. I pick her up every day from school, and I'm watching the middle school kids just dipping in and out of cars and parking lots. They're not looking. They're looking at their phones. They're talking to each other. They're looking down at the ground. They're not even making eye contact with drivers. At the same time, I'm looking at the drivers. The drivers are distracted. They're not making eye contact, or their heads is not on the swivel. They're not looking for the kids. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times you see people slamming on their brakes. You know what I mean? Kids trying to stop at the last second. It's every single day. No accountability. Like every single day. We got to do better, people. We got to do better. It's not the kids' fault that they're not being taught. They're not being taught. In fact, they're being taught the wrong thing. And it's not just like you can sit there and sit down with your kid and like talk to them, and that's the only way they learn. No, they are watching you all the time. They're watching. So in the military, we talked about this all the time. You got to lead by example. There are tons of leadership skills, right? Leadership qualities, leadership techniques. I'm one of those people that I lead from the front and I lead by example. So I'm not only am I going to tell you, but you're going to see me out there doing it. So when I'm with my child, we're walking around, we're going to take those extra steps. We're going to take that little extra time and go to the crosswalk and utilize the crosswalk, utilize the signals if they're there. We're going to look both ways, right? We're going to take that extra moment to make sure that the car's making a right turn and they don't see us. We're doing all that. I'm teaching that to my daughter. So when I pick her up and I'm waiting in the parking lot for her to come with the other middle schoolers, I notice the difference. My child doesn't just run out into the parking lot. My child her head's on a swivel. She's looking for the driver. She's making eye contact because that's how she was taught. She's constantly grabbing her friends because they just run out into the street and they don't see the cars coming. My daughter's constantly grabbing her friends. Hey, look out for the car. Like and again, I'm not blaming the other kids, but they have to be taught. They have to be taught. That's our job, people. If you're gonna parent, that's the job. So I think it's crazy that people aren't doing that. Miss AKA lady, what's good? Good evening to you too. Thanks for popping in, showing love. I'm trying to get in here real quick because our people, Suzette Speaks is she's jumping on someone else's show today. I think it's Game Time or Game Show, and I forget the name of the brother she's on with, but I think they're starting at 7. So I want to get in here real quick. I wanted to go from 6 to 7, but my daughter's tutor was running a little bit behind, so I was like, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to thread that little window. But Miss AKA, thanks for coming out. Jason, thanks for coming out. Y'all always here for me, support me. Appreciate that. We're gonna grow this thing up real, real big, right? And when we do, we're gonna have parties and stuff down the line, and y'all always gonna be VIP because y'all didn't day one. Y'all day one people. Thank you. But I just think it's real funny when I'm riding around. Not funny, it's sad actually. It's sad to me that people are more cautious of their pets than they seem to be of their own children. Yeah, I said it. It seems to me that people are more cautious of their pets than they are of little humans that they created. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people talking to their dogs, telling their dogs not to run into the street. It blows my mind. And they're grabbing their leash and all that kind of stuff. It blows my mind. But it's okay for your child to just run out into the parking lot. You don't even look that way. Don't even bat an eye. Yeah, Miss Akele is right. Priorities. Priorities are really messed up. People won't let their dogs walk into the street, but they'll let their kids walk into the street. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, people get coats, kids get hoodies, or pets get coats and kids get hoodies. Right. They're gonna make sure that they got little doggy shoes. They put coats on the little animal. They're designed to be okay in the wild. They are born with what they need as dogs, as cats, as whatever to survive in the wild. Whereas humans are not. You take a human baby, and you leave it by itself. That human baby ain't gonna make it, right? But mammals, when they pop out, they ready to roll around. After that, it doesn't take much time for them to kind of be out there and be ready to go. I mean, some are different, but I don't understand it, y'all. Right? So this is a horrible thing, losing a child. Horrible. But in all the articles I've read, and I don't watch local TV, I don't watch much of any TV, to be honest with you. I watch a lot of YouTube, and then I'll watch sporting events. But in all the articles I read on this particular case, and cases, similar, there's never any blame towards the parents of the children. Never. It's the city's fault. It's the county's fault. It's the state's fault. Right? It's the teacher's fault. It's the school system's fault. It's always someone else's fault. It's never the parent. When something goes wrong with my child, it's my fault. It's my fault. If I didn't properly prepare my child for any situation she gets herself into, I'm looking in the mirror first. Right? If my child walks up to some stranger in a van because he has a lollipop, that's my fault. I should have prepared her for that. You know what I mean? We prepare our little kids for that, little boys, little girls. Don't talk to strangers like that. Stay away. Don't accept candy. Right? If you let the kids go out on trick or treat Halloween night and they come back and they're eating apples and they're eating brownies, nah, you gotta throw those away. We can't trust that. Because when I grew up, they were putting razor blades in glass and stuff like that. So nah, you can't do that. It's our responsibility as the big ones. We're the grown-ups. It's our responsibility to teach the little ones. I just don't see any instance where I'm going to point the finger and blame someone else. I just don't see it. I'm always talking about my daughter, and she has some academic struggles, but we're pushing through it, right? And my daughter knows what's going on. So we get these great scores on her tests, and then we get the midterms, and in 2 of her classes, she's getting low grades, 80s and 90s everywhere else, but we got banned in history. All right, history. I could get it. You know what I mean? It's a regular history class. I mean, it's certain things that need to happen as far as the teacher needs to be made aware that, my daughter does get some extra accommodations as part of the program because she learns a certain way. She can handle the material. It's regular grade level stuff. I get that, right? But it's my daughter's responsibility to inform or remind the teacher that, hey, you're gonna give me a test. You might have to read some of these questions to me. Hey, you're gonna give me a test. I get a little extra time to do the test. It's the system, it's the program, it's the process. So when these grades came in, yo, what's up with this? And my daughter, and people were telling me, oh, well, it's not the child's fault. The teacher should know about this and know about that. And the teacher. Nah, my daughter knows. She ain't, you know what I mean? She ain't in a vacuum somewhere. She understands what's going on. She understands her situation. And I get it. They're like, well, she's young and she doesn't want to draw attention to herself. I don't care. You are going to make sure that you sort this out because you are responsible. And guess what? That's what my daughter's doing now. She got right on it. She started sending emails. I was like, you better figure out how to get that test again. She went, scheduled to take the test again. She went and took it, and she did better. So proud of her. Good for her. But again, her responsibility, my responsibility to make sure she handles her responsibility. Yes, the teacher plays a role in this, but I'm not going to lay all the blame at the feet of this particular teacher. I'm not going to do that. And then there was band. You chose this elective. How are you not getting an A in band? I'm sorry. It's band. What's going on? It's no excuse. I had to tell my little daughter, hey, look, there's no excuse. You better get this up to an 85 or better. This is band. Like, what is going on? This is your first year. You weren't even in there the whole year. The first quarter, you weren't even in band. We got your instrument. You're doing your thing. What's the problem? Are you having trouble reading the notes? What's going on? You're having trouble keeping time? There's only so much they can teach you. Right? You just teach you how to play certain notes. She just wasn't applying herself. It's band. Same thing. Find out from your band teacher what you can do to get this grade up. You need another 15, 20 points. You need to be in the 80s. I'll accept that. Right? And don't tell me that music is hard because Papa's a musician. So I don't want to hear it. This is something you can certainly come home to me with. If you're having trouble sight reading, we got pianos in the house. We can sit down and work on that. That's nothing. So I don't believe in laying blame anywhere else but with the grown-ups. And I mean, let me know what you guys think. I know Miss AK is gonna let me know, and there it is. Nah, never that. Can't blame other people. It takes the control from me, right? Taking responsibility gives me more control of the situation. Blaming other people means life is happening to you. Not good. Or that's hardcore right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we do right there. I'm with you 100%. I agree with you there. And it's funny because a lot of people say, well, ladies are always the softies when it came to that. That wasn't my experience growing up. Females in my family were hardcore. They didn't take any excuses. Get it done. And none of them were in the military. They were harder than the meanest drill sergeant. They were harder than the meanest jump master. Like my mom and her sisters were not playing. We're not playing. So, and it pays off on the back end, right? It pays off. I'm just kind of going through my bullet notes here. Why are people treating their kids like friends? Right? Have y'all seen this? Why are parents treating their kids like they're friends? They're their kids. I don't understand this. I don't get it. First of all, I'm a grown up. I don't have children as friends. Let's just start there. What are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? Are we hanging out? Are they going to drive me home from the bar? Can I hit them up when I'm going to have one too many? and for whatever reason the Uber ain't working. I mean, what are we doing? They're children. Why are they spending so much time with you? Did you feel that they're your friends and they feel that they're your friends? Why aren't they with other kids? Who's doing this and why? Where did this come from? I saw this so much in LA, so much with men and women. I'm not putting it on one side or the other. Men and women sitting there negotiating with little Billy, little Susie, talking about what they're gonna do next. And it's not like, I mean, it was legit. Like they're sitting there talking to one of their homies, talking about how they had a rough day at work or they got a Zoom call they got to take and they don't want to talk to so and so. They're saying all this to the kid. They're like, yo, that kid's like 8. What are we doing? I don't get it, man. I definitely need y'all help on this one. Jason saying some of these parents are still kids in the head. Ooh, good point, bro. Good point. Just like that commercial for Toys R Us. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Right? And they don't want to deal with the day-to-day of being a grown-up. Man, maybe that is it. They like being big. They like being able to go out and do grown-up stuff, but they don't want to take the responsibility. They don't want to be held accountable. Maybe that's it, bro. It's a good point. Miss AK, I'm friendly with my kids because I need to maintain an open dialogue with them. But let's be clear. I'm not one of your little friends, LOL. In my mom's voice. That's it. That's it. People are treating kids, and I'm with you on that. I compared to the way that my parents dealt with me, I'm kind of like the opening scene of Full Metal Jacket. When senior drill instructor Hartman, I'm Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, whatever his name was, senior drill instructor, and he was going on, I am hard, but I am fair. That's me. You know what I mean? I will teach you by the numbers. You will learn. That's me. Right now, I don't make my daughter stand at attention while I do it. I don't run up to her and, I don't tell her that I don't believe in all the negative racial stereotypes and just like, here, you're all equally worthless. I didn't do that. Maybe I should. You know what I mean? I don't want to run through all those negative, those racial slurs. I'm pretty sure I'll get canceled for that. But that's my favorite 15 minutes of any movie ever is the opening sequence of Full Metal Jacket. Not when they were getting their hair cut, but once they got into the barracks. But no, I had my daughter. My daughter asked me when she was 6 years old. She says, Papa, are you my friend? And I said, no, I'm your dad. She was 6. Now, we have the split house home. We co-parent. That had to come from somewhere. Right? And I want to say it was a different philosophy from a different grown up in my daughter's world. She's like, Papa, are you my friend? No, I ain't your friend. Go clean your room. Go eat some broccoli. I ain't your friend. Your father. But to Miss AKA's point, yeah, you definitely want to keep an open dialogue. There are stages to it when you're a little kid. At least my philosophy. This is just my take on it. When my daughter was very young, I said no all the time to her. It was just no, put that down, stop, don't eat that, no, get over here. You know what I mean? That's what you should be hearing, because little kids, especially when they start getting mobile, man, they get into everything. They're exploring. That's what they're supposed to do. Yeah, they're little explorers. They're supposed to be sitting there right there watching them. No, put that down, stop. You know what I mean? Get off what are you doing with the dog? Stop that. Let the tail go. No. I said no so much that some of the first words from my daughter was, Papa, I know. Papa, I know. That's what she would say. Papa, I know. Papa, I know. It was so funny. But it was so much going on. I had to, I had to do that. Can't just let her eat dirt. Put that spider down. Like, Jason, I'm hard and sometimes unfair. I'm dad. We are not the same. Absolutely. I ain't mad at you, bro. I ain't mad at you. You need to be that rock. You need to be dad. Dad has to be dad. He has to hold it down. You should be saying no, especially when they're young. And you really shouldn't start getting into until they start getting older and proving themselves worthy of a yes. Can I do this? Can I do that? Hey, Papa, I want to have a play date with so and so. We've already called their mom. They're gonna call you at this time so y'all can FaceTime and see each other. Here's the address. That's what I make my daughter do. Like, you wanna play date, you gotta do the work. You gotta do the work. All I need to know is what time I'm dropping you off, what time I'm picking you up. And before we get to that point, I need to see the parents via FaceTime or in person. We need to have that discussion. Everybody see everybody, everything cool, good. Get the address, drop you off, is good to go. But my daughter handles all that. She plans it because most kids don't know how to plan. Why? Parents are always doing it. Mom and dad are always planning every single thing. Kids aren't even involved in the process. Just mom and dad doing it, bulldozing everything out the way, Then the kid grows up, don't know how to do nothing. Nothing. Can't even walk across the street without getting hit or almost hit because mom and dad bulldozed all that out the way. They never had to deal with any problems. We got to stop doing that, y'all. Got to stop doing that. My kid's my friend? Are you out of your mind? And my thing is this for people who do it. If your kid is your friend, what happens when they outgrow that friendship? What happens when they outgrow you as a friend, mom and dad? What do you do then? I'm curious. Miss AK, yeah, relationships evolve over time, but getting a relationship mixed up will cause behavior issues over time. You have to maintain your parental status to maintain respect. I agree. Airborne. You want it. Now, Miss AK, you just saying this to be politically correct. Tell the truth. You just friends with your kids right now? Y'all be hanging out? Tell the truth. I'm playing with you. I know you real. I know you for real. I'm just giving you a hard time. I know you for real. But it is very tough being a parent. Ain't no rule book for this. I don't care whose YouTube channel you go to. I don't care what book you read from the pros and this, that, and the third. I don't. There are no rules to this. Heck no. You're a good sport. Thank you, girl. You good people. You good people. You know what I mean? I got you. Like, one of these days we'll bump into each other and I got you. If you're a drinker. If you're a non-drinker, I'll get you something non-alcoholic. But y'all know Uncle Sank's a cognac guy. You see me, I'll take a little Hennessy splash Coke. You know what I mean? If you're feeling real jumpy and you want to splurge a little bit, I'll take an XO neat. Just so y'all know, I ain't gonna say no to that. And if y'all catch me in Miami this weekend, y'all know what I'm drinking, so don't play. Don't play. And Miss AK, LOL, I'm raising kids I can be proud of. Yes, you are. You should be. We all should be doing that, but there's so many people who are not. I blame the timeout generation. That's who I blame. When timeout came about, when that became a thing, timeout, you must be crazy. In my house, timeout was timeout. Let me go get my belt. As soon as they get the belt, time in, and it's on. Right? And if it was the belt, the extension cord, the Hot Wheel racetrack, the shoe, the flip-flop, y'all know what it is. You done heard the jokes. Everybody's joking about it, but guess what? It happened. You feel me? I don't do that. I don't go into that. That's just that hardcore. I don't do that. Especially having a little girl, preteen. I don't want her to think it's okay for men to hit her. I'm dad punishing her. I don't want her to think that that's okay. One of my buddies, shout out to Sid Cooley. It was Sid who told me that. He was like, "Nah, man. After a certain age, you can't do that because that could be." I sat down and thought about it. Like, oh man, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I don't do a lot of yelling. I'm not that guy. I don't yell. I rarely yell. If I'm yelling, it's because we're on a range and I need to yell so you can hear me to tell you to cease fire, right? You know what I mean? You tell you where the bad guys are. Like I need to yell to do that. But I'm not the kind of person to get into screaming matches back and forth and all that, or just screaming at my kids, or you know, somebody left the milk out and go screaming. I don't do that. I don't do that. I had to deal with that growing up, and that was, I don't use the word annoying a lot, but that was very annoying. You know, like pops and moms and everybody screaming about little things that mean nothing. So I don't do that. I don't do that. Miss AK lady. Okay, so I do hate corporal punishment. Ooh, I struggle through it, but I have a 4-year-old boy. Talking don't work. It does not. I am definitely a fan of spankings. I'm a fan. You got a 4-year-old. He's probably not potty trained yet. Maybe he is. I don't know. But when kids got diapers, they got that extra padding and whatever. It's not that that doesn't hurt them, especially through the diaper. It's just the acts of. That's when you got to be a little more animated. You ain't got to scream, but you gotta show the mean face. You got to reinforce it with a little pat. Like we ain't trying to hurt the kids. We ain't leaving no marks, nothing like that. It's just so they understand. So many people try to reason with toddlers. You got to give them reasons. You know, that's my take on it. You got to give them reasons. You don't want to hurt children, but you got to let them know, because these things you're teaching them 7 times out of 10 is keeping them alive, because they're grabbing stuff that can hurt them. They're doing things that could get them, you know what I mean, a trip to the hospital. Stuff I did as a kid. Boy, oh boy. I was in the hospital a lot. So I don't know. You might want to think about it. And we're not hurting them. It's just you're putting on a show, and it shocks them, and then they relate that, like, oh, every time I try to, you know, touch the knife or whatever, or put my finger in the socket, I get in trouble. Like they'll stop doing it. You know, but he is a little boy, and little boys are crazy, so you got that to deal with as well. Jay Swans is in the house. What's good, bro? Mom, show your daughters what it is to be a woman. Dad, show your sons what it is to be a man. This big homie shit is ridiculous. Hey, I'm with you. You know what I mean? You know, we definitely think alike. We just it is what it is. Miss AK, LOL. Give them reasons. I like that. Yeah, you got to give them a reason. You cannot reason with a child. You cannot reason with a toddler. You can't. You got to give them a reason. You got to give them a reason. My daughter, I love her more than anything. Anything. I constantly give her reasons to do the right thing. I constantly give her reasons to be a good kid. Right? They're not threats. Hey, if you don't get these 2 grades up, I'm taking your VR. That's how it works. Your responsibility is to get these grades up. I know you can do it. And then I had to sit down and explain to her, it's not that you're having trouble. Like if my daughter was given 100% and all she can do is get a 45 on a test, but she's giving it her all, it's just for whatever reason, her mind's not grasping it, because we know she has that process is a little different. That's fine. She gave 100%. You good. You good. You did your all. We'll figure out another way around it. We'll do extra credit. We'll do whatever. You good. But when I know you can do better than a 60, and you simply don't like the teacher because you told me you don't like the teacher, when I know you understand the subject material and you simply don't want to study because you want to play your VR, well, now we got to do something about that. Right now we got to do something about that. Jason works on mine. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Wonderful 34. Thanks for coming through. Boys respond to physical discipline. Yes. Yes, we do. And you got to run your boys too. Miss AK, when he gets older, You gotta take him outside and run him. Let him go up them trees, jump out the trees, then you just let him take off and run. Like do I got Speedy Gonzalez on here? No, not on this one. But I got a shirt with Speedy Gonzalez. You gotta turn them loose and just let them run like Speedy Gonzalez till they get tired. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't give them medicine because they're too active. We're boys. That's how we get down. Let them get dirty. Let them crawl in the mud. Get him a dog and let him just run with the dog. Just let him run with the dog. Just sit there. Get your binoculars out and watch. Because there ain't nothing wrong with that. Wonderful 34. Hello, peeps. Thanks for coming through. Jay Swans. Man, I sent you the link, man. I don't even know. When we start Downrange Podcast, it's going to be a little different. Jay Swans and I have a political podcast we've been working on for almost 6 to 8 months now. Downrange Podcast. Give us another 30 to 60 days. We're going to have it up and running. We're going to do it like this. We'll use StreamYard. We were trying to do it in studio. It just wasn't working out for us between getting the crew and getting the edits and all that kind of stuff done. It's a process. If we were in LA, no problem. It'd already be out. It'd have been up and running months ago. But out here, we're finding it difficult to get what we need, and we're scheduling and this, that, and the third. So we're just going to use StreamYard. So it's coming, and we're going to tackle all of the political stuff, man. Y'all going to love that one. So for the political heads out there, y'all going to love that one. So Jay Swans, teaching responsibilities, chores, homework, sports, goals. Let them learn to fail so they know what it feels like. So hate it. So they know what it feels like. So hate it so they can succeed in the future. Oh, so they will hate it. They will hate to fail. Yeah, but here's the thing. We live in a world where everyone gets a trophy. There are no losers. There are only winners, right? And then we have parents who are their kids' best friends. So, bro, you sound like a relic. Me and you, man, they got us behind the glass. Break glass in case of emergency. Break glass in case of alien invasion, and then they'll let us out. Let us do our thing. Wonderful 30-year-old. Girls understand too verbally. Yeah. Girls understand. Girls are a little different. Let them play. Let them do their thing. You know, let them utilize their imagination. Like their superpowers are different than the boys' superpowers. And they're little X-Men, boys and girls, but just we're different. And, you know, you got some girls who love the rough house, and then you got some boys who love to use their mind power. But for the most part, let them get out there. My little girl she loved to climb on top of everything. She climbed on everything. So I let her. And then one day she stopped climbing. Jason, pat that butt is definitely more for a mental shock. Absolutely. I'm a fan of that. You know, especially they got on clothes, they got on diapers and all that, man. Yeah, I tear that little pamper up, bro. Get it together. Little one, quit doing that. No means no. Boom, boom, boom. Take care of that. Miss AK lady, when all else fails, don't make me call you daddy. Hey, uh-oh. That's a whole nother conversation. Well, when all else fails, don't make me call your daddy. And then I read it wrong. Y'all can see where my mind is, always in the gutter. But yeah, when all else fails, don't make me call your daddy. But what if daddy's the best friend? What if daddy isn't the disciplinarian? What then? I'm with you though, because I get that call. I see those threats. I hear those threats. Right? My daughter's aunts used to, all the time you hear in the background, I'm going to call your dad. My daughter, that's how smart she is. When she was in daycare. She was in daycare. I don't know, she was like 5, it was like 4 or 5 or something like that. She realized that on certain days, it was on Fridays, that mom came to get her. Because I had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, mom came to get her. And then mom had her like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we kind of would rotate or whatever, but it was always that Friday. And the teachers were like, yo, on Friday, she's a handful. She won't take her naps. She's bad. She's this, she's that. And I'm like, all right, well, I just live 2 blocks away. You got a problem? Call me. So one day they were having a problem. I could hear my little girl in the background wilding out. I knew it was my baby. I could just hear her screaming, doing all kind of stuff, knocking stuff down. And they're like, we're going to call your dad. And I can hear in the background. She said, it's Friday. Papa doesn't come on Fridays. I was up there 10 minutes later. A little patty pat, pat, pat. No more problems. Done. So yeah, it's like four or five back then. So anyway, Jay Swans, my dad got spanked and I got spanked. My sons got spanked. We all turned out okay. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's bad. I hate running, but it keeps me healthy. I mean, yeah, some people just, they want to try different things, bro. To teach his own. I ain't mad. But if you can come up with an alternative that works, let me know what that is. But my go-to, especially for the little ones, patty pat pat pat. That's my go-to. Again, they're wearing Pampers. They're insulated real good. They ain't getting hurt. You know what I mean? It's not like when we was getting the welts. I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about getting all, torn up with the extension cords and the switches. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about just, them little love taps. And then Miss AK, I had wonderful, very true about both girls and boys. I have one of each. I can definitely validate that. Yeah. And Jay Swans, you didn't send the link. I did. I sent it to your email, but don't worry. If you want to jump in on this, I got you. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Where you at? Oops. Give me 1 second, y'all. It's just me. I don't have a producer. No. I did send it to you, man. Check your email, bro. Man, I sent it to myself too. I hope I didn't erase it. So we were talking about parents wanting to befriend their kids. Like, that's what we're talking about. And I tell you what, I don't agree with that one bit. Not one itty bitty bit. Because it's just wrong there, bro. I sent it to you. I don't agree with it one bit. You can't be friends. Now, I understand that there's a fine line there, and I understand there's a little bit of gray there. And I understand as your children grow and as they learn and they develop, yeah, you're gonna get closer and stuff like that. But I can't tell you how many times I've been out and about in a club, at a party, something like that, and I'm talking to a woman, and come to find out the woman sitting next to her is her daughter, and they in the club doing that. Like, I mean, doing that. You hear what I'm saying? Like, I don't, that part I don't understand. I can't do that. As a personal choice, I'm never going to be in a club with my kids. Never. That's just not something I'm going to do. I'm not trying to get toe up with my kids, getting drunk or whatever. I'm not trying to do that. I don't understand that. So yeah. And then here's the thing. And if your kids are your friends, how do you help them navigate through social media? How do you help them understand how the world works and how the world perceives you? Like, there are certain things that aren't so necessarily cut and dry, black and white, right? And that's stuff that we're dealing with now. Like, you look at social media, look at what's going on out there in the Romeo Papa world and the Bravo Papa world, and it's like, well, this doesn't matter and that doesn't matter. Well, a lot of that stuff does matter. It does matter. I know social media matters to the United States military. If you're a young man or woman and you're trying to get into the United States military and you have a questionable social media presence, they might not let you enlist. They might not. Miss AK, see, it's something about a dad that hits different. Maybe it's the size or voice, I don't know. Just him walking into the room straightens him out. He doesn't even have to say anything. Ooh. But you know what? I had that with my mom too, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had that with my mom. Like, it was just the two grown-ups. But yeah, I get you on that. But and that's Oh, I did send you the thumbnail twice. My bad, bro. My bad. Here we go. Here we go. I'm about to send it to you right now. And my bad. I sent it to you and Naya's thing. My bad, bro. And he's the one with the CTE. And I'm the one over here messing up. But yeah, Miss AK lady, I see that. But how can you help your children navigate this changing world? And I'm talking now about social media and the social media presence and all that, because whatever you upload, whatever you put out there is out there forever. You can't scrub it. You can't get rid of it. So are they gonna listen to you if y'all just buddies? Are they gonna really heed your warning if you were the friend that they outgrew because y'all were buddies when that child was 6, and now that they're 26, they have no respect for you at all, or they just don't see you as a peer? These are the kind of things that I wonder about. Wonderful 34. Never uses your hands. Don't use same hand to discipline and caress, confusing to a child. Okay. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm definitely I'm pro using my hands. I ain't gonna lie to you, but again, only to a certain point, right? I mean, at a certain age, probably some kids would rather they get spanked because it doesn't hurt and they can go back to doing whatever bad stuff they were doing in the first place. I think they get to a certain age, that's when you begin to take things. They get to a certain age that you begin to restrict them. You know what I mean? It's certain, there are other tools. There are other tools, but I definitely, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm old school like that. I believe in that. I'm just like that. But I'm not trying to take away from your strategy at all. I'm not trying to take away whatsoever. Not true. My mom would get, but yeah, well, and Jay Swans and I, we're cut from the same cloth, so to speak. You know what I mean? Oh, and here it is. Speak of the devil, man, sitting here eating. I don't know what he eating, man. I ain't gonna bring you up until you finish eating, bro. I'm sorry, man. We having a good show here. You about to act up. As soon as you finish eating your ramen noodles or wherever your MREs, you know what I mean? As soon as you finish eating those MREs, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Probably got the nasty spaghetti MRE. Them were the worst. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I like the spaghetti MRE. I like that one. But who out there is having some trouble negotiating that social media aspect that we're talking about? We're talking about bigger kids now. We're talking about young adults. You know what I mean? So, because this is all brand new. Because my daughter's not big on social media. She's all about VR, which is great. So she doesn't care about TikTok. She doesn't care about Instagram. She's not on Facebook. My little girl doesn't want anything to do with that. And I feel so grateful because I've seen my friends and their little girls and boys get out there, and it's a whole different kind of thing. What's up, everybody? Your man Jay Swans is here. What's good, bro? How you feeling?
Man, first, I was out on the bike. All right. Had to get some riding in. You know how that goes.
No, I don't. I told you I ain't gonna ride in Florida, man. These people can't drive.
You just gotta ride faster, that's all.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. That kind of goes against physics.
And I was eating shrimp curry. Janae made shrimp curry tonight with some mixed vegetables and rice. It was nice.
Must be nice, because that's more than a sandwich. You know what I mean? Shout out to Naya, bro. So we started this in with the story of, and we were talking about this, the poor baby, the little 6-year-old that was hit and lost her life.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Yeah,
Jaywalker. So that's how I started the pod, man. We were talking about that, and it kind of morphed into parents wanting to befriend their children. But the title of this thing is the zero accountability, man. What are your thoughts on that, man? Do you believe that there's a zero accountability movement out there when it comes to parenting, or am I off on that?
No, I don't think there's zero accountability. I think a lot of these cats grew up talking about my parents. They were mean to me, and I'm going to do things differently, and I'm going to be my kid's friend because my parents weren't my friends, and I'm going to be their friend. And so when they go out doing this shit, and then when something goes wrong, because of the culture the way that it is, it never can be my fault. It must be the teacher ain't teaching right. Instead of the parent, sitting down with their kid every night to see what they did, at school today, or talking to them over dinner or whatever, they want to blame the teacher for what's going on. If the kid ain't playing, they want to blame the coach. Well, how come my son's not playing? How come my daughter's not playing? It's not fair. You're not being fair to my kid. They're the best kid out there. Meanwhile, their kid goes home every day and, plays video games and doesn't even know what outside looks like. That's what the problem is.
But I hear the no accountability. It's not my fault. It's everybody else's fault. It's not my fault.
I don't think it's a movement. I just think it's lazy parenting. That's all it is. It's easy to put your kid, microwave a dinner for your kid and sit them in front of the TV. You don't have to parent. The thing that annoys me is, when like the single dads out there, they'd be like, yeah, I got to babysit my kids, or the dad, I got to go babysit my kids. I'm like, nigga, that ain't babysitting. That's parenting. You got to go parent.
Yeah.
It's a culture of laziness is what it is. Being a parent is hard. I've raised 2 boys. It's hard. And Naya and I raised 2 boys. It's hard.
Yeah, you better get some credit where credit is due, homie.
I'm telling you, I'm working and getting in there when I can. But Naya was the scoutmaster. She was the basketball, the baseball, the coach when the kids play sports, that sort of stuff. The team moms, people don't realize when you have kids, you have no life anymore. But they try to do that whole, I'm gonna have it all. I'm gonna have a life. I'm gonna have my kids. No, you don't. And everybody laughed at us for having kids young, but the kids are grown now. So I'm like, it's fun now. And now that they're adults, young adults at that, we don't parent anymore. We give advice. We're morphing into more of that friendship type relationship, but there's still boundaries. Like I've never been drunk in front of my father. And I don't expect my kids to ever be drunk around me. I don't want to know them like that. Can they have a drink around me? Yes, because they're grown men. But do I want to see them getting silly drunk and staggering around? No, I don't want to see that shit.
JD can have a drink in front of me so long as he's standing at attention. If he wants to sit down, he's gonna have to go to airborne school because we don't drink with legs.
Well, I don't even let him sit. I don't even let him stand when he pees in my house because you gotta be a paratrooper.
Somebody went too far.
Hey.
Somebody went too
I'd be like, sit your ass down and leave the door open.
Yeah, okay.
He'd be like, man, that ain't right.
Man, but what is he now? He's 6'4", 225 of pure aggression. Saying that?
What is JD? JD 6'2" and probably 210 now?
He's down to 210, but it's all muscle though. So
he over in Korea now, eating that yaki.
Yeah, he's over there, getting that kimchi in, getting some soju in, getting that what was that that TNT? Getting that TNT in.
Nah, I don't think he drink like that though, so.
Yeah, but Miss AK Lady has something at you at Jay Swans.
It's too far away. I can't read it.
I'll read it for you. I 1000% agree.
Probably not gonna be right.
Yeah, I 1000% agree. My kids have extreme limited access to the internet. They get a cooked dinner every night. No TV on the weekends. They go outside and play or play inside. That is so rare now, and shout out to you, Miss AK. That's what's up. Yeah. Shout out to you. So
okay, and for them people that are like, I don't believe in beating children. I don't believe in beating children either. And if you don't know the difference between spanking and discipline or beating your kids, then you shouldn't have kids. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's pretty strong stuff. I get it. I understand where people come from.
That's what I said. I was gonna say. I knew you meant the weekends. I knew she meant. I was like, man, that's rough. They can't even watch TV on the weekends. That's gangster. I wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that was pretty much. Yeah, lazy parenting equals undeveloped adult. Yeah, underdeveloped adult.
See,
yeah.
That's why you can't read shit. That's
hey, man,
that's why I had to lean into it. Like, man, let me see what that is.
Yeah, that's why. But here's the thing. Again, back to that the corporal punishment thing. I understand where some people come from with that. It's just being from a warrior type background. Before the military was the streets and all that kind of stuff, right? We just see it differently. And there's a lot of people out there who was like, no fighting, use your words, war is not the answer, but I'm just here to tell you, in the real world, it is the answer sometimes. Sometimes the Ukraine tried to use their words against Putin. They tried. Putin didn't listen. Now they're using javelins. Right now they're using Panther Falcons. And guess what? Putin is hearing them. Like he is hearing them right now.
Well, I mean, it's like we talked about earlier. Part of the issue is that the lack of respect that these kids are being taught now. When we talked about it earlier, like the worst thing you could do is talk about somebody's mama.
Or
I mean,
daddy.
the daddy, you could probably, you could get why, you could get a couple in. The mom thing was like, no, now I don't talk to my mom, and now we got to go do something.
Oh, you're talking about when we were growing up, we were in the streets, on the playground. It was mom's was always off.
That's off limits.
Out of bounds, off limits. If you say somebody, your mama on crack rock, it's a fight. Your mama ugly, your mama this, your mama that. Yeah, it's a fight. Now you're saying that's not even.
It's not even a thing no more. Like they made jokes about it. They be having contests talking about people's mamas, and I'm like, nah, you don't do that. But that's part of the problem there, and that's part of the lack of respect that these young men have for women. If you don't respect your mother, how you gonna respect another woman? And that's part of the problem there.
But here's the thing, though. That kind of goes back to being your friend. So it's not that I don't respect my mother. I outgrew this grown up, this big person who was my friend. I outgrew them. They're my buddy. They're not my mom.
Then that goes back to you don't respect. I mean, if you didn't grow up with a mom, you ain't gonna respect it. If your mom, I mean, I think the worst thing a person could do is when your child turns 21, if you go to the club with your child, I think you need to really get in the mirror and look at yourself. I want to buy my child. I want to get my child drunk for the first time when they turn 21. Really?
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I don't like you're firm in your beliefs, and you've earned that right to be so. Me, I'm a little more political. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do.
Don't do that.
No. This deal saying do what you want to do, but you have to be accountable for those actions. Hence, the zero accountability parenting realm, world. I don't know what we're gonna call it. Era. You know what I mean?
I'm all about accountability. Like I told you what I told my sons. When we had the sex talk. Part of the sex talk was like, don't do nothing that you can't handle the consequences of. You go out there and you get a girl pregnant, and you're in high school. I was like, you get a girl pregnant, you'll be dropping out of high school. You'll take your ass to McDonald's. You'll be working at McDonald's. You'll be giving her 3/4 of your paycheck. And as soon as you are old enough to join the military, you're going to be there too. There's responsibilities for that action.
Yeah. Like if you buy a Cujo dog and bring it home, it's going to be responsible for that action too. Ozzy, what's good, brother? Welcome. You can't have it both ways, either parent or friend. I agree 100%. And I mean, we're definitely on the same page when it comes to that, but I don't like getting to the point where I'm telling someone what to do. All I'm saying is this. If you choose to go that route, the friendship route, if you choose to spare the rod, if you choose to do these things, you must take full responsibility and be 100% accountable for the outcome, be it good or bad.
Shit, I'm going to tell you, because I don't want them little crazy ass bastards voting. I don't want them voting. I don't want them in the streets.
Man, quit making my parents' show, man. Quit making my parents' show about politics.
I'm telling you, parent your children. I don't want to deal with them little crazy a-holes. I mean, I don't want to be at the grocery store and have that little disrespectful little bastard up there running his mouth and this and that, because I'm going to have to put my hands on him. And then that's going to be a problem. Then the police going to get involved, and I'm going to fall down and say I'm a vet, and, and he attacked me. I'm going to come up with some kind of lie to get away with it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to deal with it, because
there went that alibi.
Crazy kids make a crazy ass society, and I'm not trying to deal with that.
We do have again, and that's what I was getting to. I was definitely getting to that. Miss AK, yes, I give my kids as much freedom that they can handle. If they show they can't handle whatever, the privilege is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and that's where I was getting to, because I mean, again, it started with a mom who was out with her 2 children jaywalking. They get hit, and her youngest child doesn't survive. I mean, it starts there. And then it's like, well, it's not our fault, ours being the grown-ups. It's the county's fault. It's the city's fault, because they don't have signals here. But there was a crosswalk, right? and it's like it was an established crosswalk, and you weren't in it.
See, that's just stupid. Like I said earlier, man, that's like if I get on my motorcycle and I crash at 180 miles an hour, I'm gonna be mad at I'm gonna be mad at BMW for selling me a motorcycle that goes that fast. I'm gonna be mad at the county for not having enough sheriff or police officers to stop me when I was going that fast. I mean, that's just stupid.
Right. And it goes on forever and ever. Oh, before you did that, you were drunk. So now you're gonna sue the bartender for selling you the alcohol. You're gonna sue the owner of the bar for hiring the bartender who sold me the alcohol. And again, you're mad at the police for not stopping you while driving drunk.
And that's just stupid.
Yeah. But again, that's the era we live in. So my thing is this, and people were like, what could be a possible solution for this sort of thing, right? And I got one statement that I think would really help, and that is tell your kids no.
I was gonna say no. Say no.
Tell your kids no. Don't be afraid to tell your kids no. Mom, Dad, Papa, Mama, can I have this? No. Like I said, when my daughter, my daughter, some of the first words my daughter was saying was Papa, no. Papa, no. Because I was always telling her no. It was all over the place. So that's one of my things. I don't know. Miss AK. I missed the beginning. That's tough. Take risk alone. I don't take risks like that with my kids by my side. I'm responsible for their lives. That's a serious thing. Exactly. And Miss AK, you're probably the type person, if something like that were to happen, if you did make that decision and it did have that outcome, you would take 100% accountability. The fact that you're like, I'm not taking that chance tells me you're the type of grown up, you're the type of parent that puts their kids first. And if you go back and watch it, I was talking about that. It's about leadership. It's not just teaching your kids, but you also got to lead your family. And I lead by example. So if I'm out there jaywalking all the time, and they're in the car watching me, that's what they're going to do. So if they see me take that little extra jaunt down to the crosswalk, look both ways, I'm not crossing against the light. If they see that, there's a good chance that that's what they're going to do. So,
and that goes on the negative stuff too. If your kids see you getting sloppy drunk, Janae and I were talking about this recently, actually. Our kids have never really seen us drinking. They've never really seen us drunk, kind of thing. They've seen me with a drink. They've never seen us drunk. And when we go on vacation, Janae will be like this. Oh, good. I'm nobody's mom for a week. Right? Because you can go out there and have fun. But you got to lead by example. And I think a lot of these people. I guess it goes back to that. What do you do with that blue pill, red pill shit? Cats
how so? Tell me.
Cat, because the same simple shit. Cats never grew up. Like if you're 30 plus years old talking about some red pill, blue pill shit, you just ain't really never grown up. And so you're stuck in that era. So I think a lot of these parents they're stuck in that. That's why they're friends with their kids, because they're stuck in that high school shit. Wouldn't it be fun if I had someone I could kick it with all the time? How are you, 35 years old with 2 kids talking about kicking it?
I know the red pill, blue pill reference. I see what you're saying. So the way it came out, I can't get behind 100%. And I'm gonna say this. If we're talking red pill, blue pill, in the sense that you are unplugged,
stuck being a child.
Well, no, you're unplugged. And I'm not talking about relationships. Like the way I look at red pill and blue pill is like I look at the world as it is, not as it should be. Right? If I were looking at this through a blue pill lens, then I would say, yeah, it's fine for you to be your child's friend. It's fine to teach your children how to jaywalk, and it's fine to blame everyone else for your shortcomings as a parent, as a leader. That's, in my mind, that's blue pill thinking. So if you're talking about red pill being unplugged and really looking at what the world is, how it is, not how it should be, that's how I use red pill, blue pill. Now you're talking about the guys who are out there simply trying to womanize, simply trying to figure out that part of their life, simply trying to be the pickup artist and this, that, and the third. Okay,
yeah,
I can get behind that.
I'm talking about, adults doing kid shit, trying to figure their lives out.
And that has nothing to do with red pill versus blue pill, in my opinion. That
No.
what you just said is what you just said. It has nothing to do with red pill or blue pill. And act Ozzy, yeah, conflating two different things. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Read red pill versus blue pill, reality versus illusion. And I'm more on in that camp. And here's the thing. When it comes to being a realist, let's not call it red pill or blue pill. Just I'm a realist. You did. And so are you. You know what I mean? So when and that is one aspect, that dating dynamic and all that. That's one aspect. But I'm talking about big picture. And in this particular show, we're talking about parenting and more to the point, lack of accountability. That's what I'm talking about here. Lack of accountability. So, like I said, that's the only pushback I would give with you on that. You know what I mean? But parents aren't parenting.
What I'm saying is, there comes a point in time where you need to grow up, and when you got kids, like I said, those luxuries of going out and kicking all the time, that stuff goes away. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, they got their grandparents they got their parents raising their kids. That's a problem. Kids, even though well, my parents raised me and they're good people. Okay, great. Your parents are good people, but your kid's still looking to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to sacrifice. And I think that's what people don't realize. There's so much sacrifice that goes in it. There's so much growing up. You figure Jalen was born when I was 21.
Right.
And it was shit, I got to get my shit together quickly.
And we're on the same page. That's that red pill lens. In this sense that I see, you were like, no, I ain't got time for the bullshit.
That's exactly what it is.
I gotta grow up and I gotta take care of business. And we're not even gonna delve into the details of that particular situation, that dynamic. You overcame all that. You drove forward. And here's the thing. You never lay blame at anyone's feet about anything. I've known you the better part of 30 years, and you never will. And that's what I mean. We need more parents like that, as opposed to the parent who's like, I'm gonna let my parents, the grandkids, take care of everything.
Well, like I said, you have to understand the sacrifice. What's important to you. And that's what it comes down to. It's what's important to you. Do you want your kid, raised by somebody else? Do you want your child to grow up with values that you don't believe in? So you got to sacrifice and make it work.
That's a good point. And as you was saying, this all goes back to the 50s, the ending of the traditional father figure.
I don't know about that. Like I said, because my parents divorced, and my mom had her foot in my ass the whole time. Even when my parents were together, my dad worked. He was an air traffic controller at LAX, so I rarely saw him. Rarely.
Right.
My mom held it down, and she put her foot in my ass on a regular basis.
But I would agree that society accepted that more so than they do now. Like, it's a different society. In fact, you could argue that a man would have to fight, like your father had to fight to still be a part of your life, because some people like to use that system because it gets into like child support and all that kind of stuff. So,
but that had nothing to do with my upbringing. What my upbringing consisted of, where my dad was weak at, my mom was there strong, and where both my parents were weak at, I had my aunts and my uncles. And like I always tell people, because, I never drank in high school, never did any drugs. Now, I didn't start drinking until I was in the military. And the reason was, it wasn't my mom, it wasn't my dad, it was my grandmother. I did not want to disappoint her. She was the one.
You still had that strong. And again, that family dynamic, one could argue, was that traditional old school 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s dynamic. Right. You could argue that, because that was the thing. Like when you got into the 80s, the 90s, and up to now, that's not the thing. Right. The man has been absolutely kicked out the home. You have to fight to be a part of your children's life as a man or a woman sometimes, because the court system is set up the way it's set up. I'm just saying it was more accepted, one could argue. In the 50s, you had to step up. You had to man up. You had to woman up. You had to raise your child. You put the differences aside and you focus on the kid, and it was the entire community, the whole family, the whole village. Whereas now, don't tell me what to do. My kid is my friend.
Well, I was going to say that,
you know what I'm saying?
That has nothing to do with the 50s. That has to do with, okay, if you're going to go back to the 50s with it, then I mean, you have to go progressively to see how things have changed. Especially in the Black community, our Black leaders were pretty much killed off by the end of the '60s.
Yes, I hear where you're going with that, and
Yeah.
we're gonna definitely save this. We're gonna tighten this up real quick and save this for another conversation because I want to get off in like another 10 to 15 minutes. But here's the thing, and I agree with you. There was you look at Brother X, what I mean, Dr. King. You look at the Black Panthers. I get that, but there was still right Uncle John. You know what I mean? You had.
Not only Uncle John, there was the next door neighbor.
That's what,
You know
but
what I
that's
mean?
and then
Well, I
yeah,
would
you
say
had
people
yeah,
talked.
yeah, Mr.
I
P.
remember. Yeah, I remember growing up. See, and I was a military brat, so I remember growing up. You know what I mean? Like I mean, the guys that the guys that were at the hospital when I was born. You know what I mean? I grew up around those guys. That kind of thing. My
Right.
next door neighbor. If I was cutting up, the next door neighbor brought me home, and I think that's more. I mean, because parents, they come and go. I mean, let's call it the court systems, whatever, they come and go. But the environment that you're raised in, the morals that surround you, that's what's going to mold you. That's what's going to mold the kids.
Yes.
I mean,
I-
like I said, the traditional home. I mean, how can I put this?
I would argue. I agree with you 100%. We all know where you're going with this. I would argue this.
I don't. I'm glad y'all know because I don't know.
I know. I think I know where you're going with this. It was you grew up in the 70s and 80s as well, right? And it was still the village. You had a village, not just your family and your extended family, but like you said, the neighborhood. It was the village, right? And if you did something 2 blocks away, and you know what I mean, and Mr. Pete had to smack you in your head because you was over there being bad. By the time you got home, right?
Yeah, they
You
already
knew,
know.
and you had to answer for that. So that does not exist anymore.
Well,
There's zero accountability.
Actually, that does exist. Okay.
Right.
The difference is people choose not to use that because I would say my village with my children has expanded. Because where I did the things I didn't want to talk to my kids about. I didn't want to tell my kids all the craziness that we were doing and this and that. But I reached out to you. Hey, do me a favor, talk to my son about this. Or I'd reach out to Jason, talk to my son about this. Or I'd reach out to Mardella, hey, have a conversation. So, I mean, your village, people choose not to use it because I think a lot of parents think that they know more than everybody else.
Right.
Or they don't want to hear that they're wrong.
Let's go back to your example. You messed up 3 streets over. By the time you got home, you got smacked in the head a couple times by the extended villagers,
Yeah.
right? You got into the house, you got your little spanking because you was wrong, right? Now, if someone did that, if you had a 13-year-old right now, same scenario, he's over a couple blocks over, he messes up, and a couple of your villagers smacked him on his head or whatever, if you don't do that, they call you and tell you he's coming home, this is what he did wrong, you gonna tighten him up like you got tightened up. But you and I will sit, we will be in a small minority because most people be calling the police. Mr. P put his hands on my son. This person did this person did that. Don't tell me what to do. Zero accountability. And
That
now
makes
it's like,
my
well,
point.
okay.
Yeah, that makes my point for me then. That's exactly what I was saying. People don't, they have the ability to have these things. They choose not to use them.
And so many people has chosen not to use them that it doesn't exist anymore. In other words, when your kid is over there doing something stupid and he breaks somebody's glass or whatever, now we got to call the police and he has a criminal record as opposed to being tightened up by the community. And that's what Act was talking about when he was making a reference to the 50s. Now it has morphed into something different. And I think a lot of that is due to the zero accountability era that we live in. Because it's like if I correct your child, you saying that I did something wrong. I ain't saying you did nothing wrong. We just here to help raise the child up together. But no, you're gonna call the police and you want to, right?
Well, I was going to say, it also depends on who's in your village, because once again, not everybody knows the difference between discipline. First of all, nobody's going to.
No. But let's stay with what we had. We're not gonna. Let's stay with what we had. We're talking about the good villagers. We're talking about the people who are there with the same goal in mind to raise up the child. We get that. We definitely get that. There are people out there, and these people existed back then too. These, you know what I'm saying? You had Mr. Weirdo over there, right? That we
Oh,
knew
yeah.
growing up, and the village, all the villagers knew that. So let's not delve away from it. All I'm saying is this: I won't discipline somebody else's kid because I know I'm gonna have to beat
No.
somebody's grown up. Somebody's parents gonna have to take a fade. You
I was gonna
did.
say, yeah, I wouldn't put my hands on nobody's kid, but I'll definitely tell them they're wrong.
I'll tell them
mean,
they're
like I
wrong,
said-
but again, when they start popping off at you, like you said, they ain't gonna pop out for you because you're bigger. But if they start popping off at somebody they think they can take, you dig? Like it's a whole
Now, see,
different kind of
and
thing.
that's a whole nother dynamic. I mean,
Right, it's a
see,
whole
and that's
nother thing.
because that's a whole nother situation because if a kid is feeling like that, there's other issues at home.
But here's the thing:
You know?
it stems from zero respect from their parent, friend.
Yes, I was gonna say there you go.
Right?
So that's why the
And
village
it spills into the reality. So that's what I mean. That zero accountability, man. So we're, like I said, we're on the same page. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, there's these little variants here. But the bottom line is, parents, raise your kids, take responsibility.
Did you use that line where the people will discipline their dog more than they'll discipline their children?
I did. I started. Yeah, I'll go back and watch that. But
That's
people,
the truth, boy.
yeah,
No.
raise your kids.
No,
Take accountability for your kids. And I mean, we're just talking about children right now, but there's zero accountability across the board. I'm just seeing it. The more I watch, the more I read. There's zero
No.
accountability. I bet you Putin's it ain't my fault I invaded Ukraine. Right? Zero. That's a different thing. But I'm just saying it's zero accountability
Shit,
across
okay,
the board.
you want an
McCartney.
example? I was gonna say McCartney. That's the
McCartney.
example right there. That's the Shaggy defense. Now, wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't
Man,
me.
this is you. This is you talking. This is your voice. Wasn't me.
Shit, no,
Zero.
that's the R. Kelly defense. Got a tattoo on his back that says Robert Kelly.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me, dog.
So that's the whole thing right there. Like and thanks for jumping on, bro, right here at the end because I needed that. That was good. I want to wrap this up because again, Suzette's out there doing a good show. I want to jump on there and support her.
What's her show?
She's on someone else's show. I'll send it to you. I'm gonna jump on there and see if I can find her. I forget the name of the guy, but she's on someone else's show and they started at 7. I wanted to get in. I'm hoping they're running a little bit late and I'm hoping we can catch the majority of the show, but she's a guest on this guy's show. And man, hey, if anybody in the chat knows what that show is, dump it in the chat for me real quick. We're about to wrap this up, man. Yo,
Hey,
Jay Swans.
and before you go, hey, I'm still mad at you, man. 'Cause I looked at that Lizzo shit. I can't unsee that. I'm still mad at you for talking about that shit.
Hey, man, you're
What you
welcome.
doing?
You're welcome.
Man,
Hey, man, that's the blue pill world, baby. That's the new hotness. That's
Nah,
what it
but
is
that's-
right there. That's the new hotness. Put your blue pill glasses on, bro. Go on out there and love that. You know what I mean? Go ahead and make it rain on that. You know what I mean? Or,
Right.
or throw coins and make it hail. Do something.
There's a limit to everything, and that shit's an excess, bro.
No, buddy. There
Man,
is no limit.
Man, I was gonna eat a donut hole the other night, and I saw that shit. I said, "I'm gonna put this donut down, bro." Like, I couldn't even.
That's the
You
new
know,
world, baby.
No offense to the chubby chicks,
Hey,
but
hey.
but the big ones though, it's a problem.
Hey, Miss AK Lady, thank you very much. It's Ed Talk with Tori game night. So there it is right there. Just type that in, Ed Talk with Tori game night, and it'll take us. I'm about to go over there right now. Yo, thanks for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all coming out. That's Jay Swans. I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. And remember, y'all, it's all about accountability. Be accountable for you and yours. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Hey, love you, Nan.